Recently, an Indian used car startup by the name of Spinny raised $285 million from investors at a $1.75 billion valuation, making them the fourth Indian used car unicorn of 2021, after Cars24, CaDekho, and Droom. But why? Why are all of these Indian used car startups becoming unicorns? Well, that's the question that we're going to be answering in this episode of Backstage with Millionaires, coming up right after this. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look at how all of these startups are actually doing. What kind of growth are we looking at here? Firstly, we'll look at Spinny, which was founded in 2015. And unfortunately, they don't publicize their financials, so there is going to be a little bit of guesswork involved here. But what we do know is that they're currently selling upwards of 3,000 used cars every single month. And that's a 3x jump from the number of cars they were selling at the beginning of 2021. Now, on average, a car sells for between 4 and 4.5 lakh rupees, which means that they're bringing in roughly 100 crore rupees EBITDA every month. Next up, we've got Droom, which was founded in 2014. They brought in 135.5 crore rupees in the financial year of 2021, which means that over the last 3 years, they've doubled their revenues. After Droom, we have CarDekho, which has been around since 2008. They brought in 884.4 crore rupees in the financial year of 2021, which is up from their revenues in the financial year of 2017 of 114 crore rupees, meaning that they've been able to 8x their revenues in the last 5 years. And then finally, we have Cars24, which was founded in 2015. They brought in 2,793 crore rupees in the financial year of 2021, which, like CaDekho, is an 8x increase from their financial year of 2017 numbers. Now, we don't know exactly how many cars they sold in the financial year of 2021, but what we do know is that they sold 12,500 cars in the financial year of 2019. And using that number, we can estimate that they sold roughly 20,000 cars in the financial year of 2021. So what we're seeing here, of course, is growth. That's obvious. Individually, each of these startups is growing. But this is actually bigger than the individual success of any one of these startups. In fact, one of the biggest reasons why these unicorns are succeeding is actually changing Indian consumer behavior. In the financial year of 2017, 3.6 million used cars were sold in India. That's 5 lakh more used cars than new cars. And at this point in time, India's used car market had a bit of a bad reputation. It was predominantly offline and didn't have the quality standards that we see in the space today. But in spite of this, the used car market was bigger than the new car market because used cars are cheaper, often substantially so. But there was definitely room for improvement here. The trend towards consumer centricity that we're seeing in the space today wasn't as prevalent back then. And the unicorns that we mentioned earlier were working hard to change that. By 2019, 6 lakh more used cars were being sold than new cars, 4 million to 3.4 million. And then even during the pandemic in the financial year of 2021, when both markets shrunk, used cars still came out further ahead than new cars. 3.8 million used cars were sold versus 2.6 million new cars. That's a 12 lakh difference, the biggest yet. And this gap is expected to widen. By the financial year of 2025, predictions put the number of used car sales at 8.2 million, more than double what it is today. And more than double the size of the new car market too, which is expected to only reach 3.9 million sales in the same year. And this massive predicted increase, the size of the used car market as compared to the new car market, has VCs very bullish on used car startups. That's the fundamental reason why these startups are becoming unicorns. They're raising tons of money from investors. And this capital is enabling them to change consumer behavior. And changing consumer behavior is a rising tide that lifts all boats. But now we have to ask the question, how are they changing consumer behavior? How are these used car startups incentivizing people to buy used cars over new cars? Well, I'll explain that using a hypothetical situation. So let's imagine that you visit a new car dealership. The salesperson tells you that there are 10 models to choose from. Not bad. So you take a look around, but you realize that the price of these new models is pretty steep. After all, these cars are priced to factor in the cost of development and manufacturing, the cost of the showroom that you're currently standing in, and the salary of the salesperson that you're speaking to. So you ask to see last year's models, hoping that they'll be cheaper. but the salesperson tells you that unfortunately at the dealership, they only carry the latest models, and for these models, you're gonna have to pay full price. You ask the salesperson if you can take the car home for a couple of days to test it out and see if you like it, but the salesperson tells you that they don't offer multi-day test drives. You can take one of their demo cars for a spin, but that's not the exact car that you're gonna be taking home. Oh, and you do need to take it home because the showroom doesn't do delivery. This has been the experience for thousands upon thousands of Indians over the last couple of years. They aren't satisfied with the new car shopping experience because this experience isn't customer-centric, it's company-centric. These automobile companies are old. They've been around for decades, and customer centricity is not part of their DNA. That's a new thing. Customer obsession, customer centricity. These ideas are ubiquitous in the world of startups, but in the stodgy, antiquated world of automobile companies, the customer's needs and wants come second to the company's. And that's where used car startups come in. They're bringing disruption and innovation to India's automotive market. When you open up a used car marketplace website or app, instead of 10 models to choose from, you'll find hundreds. Every year, every model, every color, every company, and this is what we've come to expect. It's the variety that startups provide us with. Zomato and Swiggy show us countless restaurants. Netflix shows us thousands of movies and TV shows. Amazon and Flipkart show us endless products. Spotify gives you non-stop music. We as consumers are used to being spoiled for choice at this point. And this is one of the reasons why car showrooms and even car websites are starting to feel antiquated. They don't have a lot of variety, and the cost of this lack of variety is substantially more than what you'll pay with used car websites. Pre-owned cars are sold at a reasonable price, and all of the unicorns that I mentioned above have very compelling financing options too. They've partnered with banks and NBFCs to offer vehicle loans to their customers. Now, of course, the reason why used cars cost less than new cars is that they're inherently less desirable, less valuable. They've been used by another person. And this means wear and tear. Cars deteriorate over time, and this is one of the biggest concerns for people buying used cars. They're worried that the car will unexpectedly break down, that they're gonna face problems because someone else has already used the car before they did. And for many years, used car companies weren't able to alleviate these concerns. They would tell customers that they had fixed up the car, that it was in good condition, but there was no proof. There was no way of actually checking. And oftentimes these promises were empty. Salespeople would just tell the customer whatever they needed to make the sale. But when startups showed up on the scene, they realized that this wasn't a scalable way of selling cars. If you want customers to keep coming back, and if you want them to recommend your platform to others instead of leaving a negative review and boycotting your service, you need to earn that customer's trust. And so that's what used car startups have been doing. For the last 5 or so years, these unicorns have been building trust. Any cars that they're listing are serviced and repaired. They're put through multiple tests to ensure that they're in near perfect condition. And any defects or problems are listed clearly online so that the customer knows exactly what they're getting. But if for some reason there is a problem, if the used car startup somehow missed something, then they'll take the car back, no questions asked. These companies have excellent return policies, and they also offer extensive warranties too. So to sum all of that up, used car startups are doing as much as they possibly can to make the customer experience as frictionless and as intuitive as possible. And because of this, the online used car shopping experience is significantly better than the online or offline new car shopping experience. And it's not just because of the price. It's because these startups are customer-centric. They're offering things that traditional automotive companies either can't or won't. But of course, there's more to this equation than just changing consumer behavior. The pandemic has also done a lot for the used car segment. Before COVID-19 first appeared in India in early 2020, public transportation was a huge part of many people's lives. Buses, metros, and cabs were a way of life. And a lot of these people could afford to buy a car, but they didn't want to because it would have been a waste of money. After COVID-19 swept across the country, though, buying a personal vehicle suddenly became significantly more attractive. Not having to share the same air and surfaces as thousands of other people was desirable, especially after the second wave killed lakhs of Indian people. But at the same time, the world was going through a shortage of chips. And in case you didn't know this, the average car these days has roughly 1,500 of these chips, which handle very small but very important processes within a car. And without them, car companies can't make cars. We need these chips. They're an essential component of 21st century automobiles. And so, the perfect storm was created for used car marketplaces to succeed. The chips are already there. The cars have already been made. And with all of the customer-centric policies and offerings that I mentioned earlier, a used car marketplace feels like the right choice for a lot of people these days. These startups, these used car unicorns, have eliminated virtually every single pain point facing customers who want to buy a car in India today. They're bending over backwards to make the experience as frictionless, affordable, and dare I say enjoyable as possible. And the pandemic has only accelerated things. Back in 2011, only about 10% of India's used car market was organized. You had Maruti Suzuki's used car portal True Value and Mahindra's First Choice, but now, thanks to these innovative startups, the pandemic, and the VCs that are turning these companies into unicorns, that number is expected to be 45% by 2025. And as we mentioned earlier, with the used car market as a whole predicted to be about double the size of the new car market, this means that the organized used car market, the market in which these unicorns operate, will be similar in size to the new car market by 2025, which is really incredible when you think about it. Startups, many of which were founded in the last decade, are going to outpace established automotive giants that have been around since the 20th century. That is the power of innovation, of putting the customer first and solving the problems that incumbents have been too lazy or too slow to solve. And who knows, maybe as time goes on, we'll see some of these startups foraying into the actual automotive space. Ola began as a ride-hailing startup, but now they're building and selling electric scooters. And they have plans to make their own electric car in the next couple of years. Bounce was a scooter rental startup, but now they too are building and selling electric scooters. And remember, these used car companies know their way around literally every part of the business, from servicing and repairing, to sales and marketing, to the online e-commerce experience on desktop and mobile. Will these unicorns stick to selling used cars, or will they continue to innovate and disrupt further? Time will tell, but I'd love to get your thoughts on this in a comment down below. And also, if you enjoyed this video, then please do let us know in the comments, because this is kind of the first video that we're making like this in a long time, and we'd love to get your thoughts on it, because it is a little bit different from the kinds of videos that we normally make, startup stories, the news, top 10 videos, so please leave a comment down below and let us know if you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Backstage with Millionaires, and I will see you in the next one.